Plains and Prairies is here, and today we're going to take a look at all of the equipment inside the DLC, kind of like a mod video. I will have a separate video showing how everything works, so check that out, linked in the pinned comment. There are 21 items in this DLC, quite a few different tractors from Ford and Versatile. We also have Savator stat tools, Brant, Salford, we have the Trout River, which is very, very cool. It's kind of like a normal semi-trailer, which is awesome. Some slurry spreaders, a fence spreader, and an international semi-truck. Check out the pinned comment to see what you want to see first. Otherwise, let's jump right in. And we are going to start with tractors. We're going to start at the very bottom and work our way up. So we start with this Versatile Nemesis. This is pretty sweet. It's got horsepower ranges between 195 and 272. And all engine options are available in either a manual plus power shift or a variable transmission. So if you're like me and you prefer one over the other, well, you can pick the one that you enjoy, which is great news. We also have multiple wheel options from Trelleborg, Michelin, Continental, Midas, Vrudestan, BKT, and there you go. This is basically the Kubota M8, I believe. So you've got basically the same stuff that offers, maybe with a little bit more or less depending. Of course, we do have the narrow tires, the twin narrows, which are some of my favorite on there. And one of the other things I noticed is on this tractor, we do have standard, medium, and wide tires. It's not a lot of things that we get where you get all three of those, but this definitely offers that. Of course, plus the narrow tires. Really giving you 4 different options when it comes to singles. That's pretty sweet. That's awesome. As for attachments on the front, we do have a 3-point hitch by default. However, you can either remove that or you can add on some permanent weight there too. This starts very low, like around 40 or 80 kgs, and goes up to 400. So pretty small increments there. Then we have a front loader attacher. We have the Versatile and Quickie, and then that is it. So both those are going to be together. So if you wanted to use a Versatile front loader, go for it. Or if you want to use the Quickie style front loader, you can also go with that as well. Flip it around, we do have a normal 3-point regular hitch on the very back. Otherwise, that is it. To go along with that, we also have a front loader. This is the Versatile V7. You could kind of ignore the requirements for that as, well, it just works. If we load it up, you can see that there are no options for opening doors or anything like that. Of course, we do have blinky blinkies on the top in this front loader. However, that is it. So there are no opening doors, no animations, nothing like that. The next one is the Versatile MFWD. And this reminds me a lot of the Magnums that we've got. So this also has multiple engine options. We have a 275, which gives you 300 horsepower, and you can go all the way up to 400 horsepower. We also have 370, 340, and 320 in the middle. The engine is also quite expensive as well. Wheel options bring us from Trelleborg, Michelin, Continental, Midas, BKT, Vrudestan, and Nokian tires. Now, the top speed on this one might be surprising, 24 miles per hour. So that is not a very fast large tractor, but it's good enough. We've also got some normal stuff through here. As far as I could tell, no wide tires, at least on the Michelins. But we do have the narrow and the regular. Maybe it's the mediums, standard, medium, narrow. Okay, yeah, so no wides. We do have the narrow twins, though, and these do steer very well as opposed to some of the other ones that do not. Of course, you can always just go with the big Michelin twins, which look amazing. Front weight options on here, anywhere from 550 kgs, or you could just remove altogether, and all the way down to 120. However, I'm not quite sure that's going to do much in the way of working, but you can use it for visuals. We also have different attachers. So we have the EU attacher and we have the US attacher. So that is something that does change and can change. So very cool there. However, as with the little Versatile tractor, this has no animations, unfortunately. So nothing like that. We do have a little beacon on the top, though. I think it looks pretty cool. Now we get into a couple sets of twins. The first set is the Versatile 976 Ford, and the other one is the Versatile 976. There you go. Both of these are pretty much the same thing, and if you're using the color mod from Giant Software, this one right here, which came with one of the first few updates, allowing you to change all the colors, well, unfortunately, at least when I'm recording this, using that in conjunction with these tractors makes the Versatiles not have any logos. Now, I've got that turned off for this video. However, if you've got it turned on, you're like, hey, where's the liveries? Well, there you go. It looks like the base for both of these is a Ford because, well, this one's just blue if you're using that mod. No shocker, I'm sure customization options are the same, as well as your feature set. So 365 horsepower, no engine change on there, 12 mile per hour max speed. We do have wheel brands from Trelleborg, BKT, Michelin, Continental, Midas, Vredestein, and Nokian. These are a little bit different here and there, but we do have nice twins and narrow twins on most offerings, which is great news. We've also got a front weight, which is going to appear down here under the chassis. That's nice to see, up to 1,300 kgs there. And along towards the back, we also have an additional weight there, up to 2,200 kgs. So up to 3,500 kilograms can be added to this, making it weigh almost 20 tons by itself. Of course, just want to show you, because I know some people are super pumped about Versatile, me included. You've got the same weight setups on here as well, but you can see how the colors are different on this version. Saying that they would look identical would be a bit of an understatement, I think, as everything's exactly the same, minus the colors and livery set. So, as you would see this, well, you're also going to see that. They're the same. They're exactly the same. I feel like that Office meme comes up right now. Engine's very nice. It looks like we can see quite a few things in there, which I am really digging. Love that. As far as your interiors go, there is one, and here is your other. So as you can see, both of them say Versatile inside. The Ford does not say Ford inside, but they do sound pretty good. Gotta love that. No blinky blinkies on it, but we do have lights all over the place, which is great news. And if you're on PC or any other platform where you're able to activate your four-way flashers, those are going to be activated at the top. One thing that caught me off guard a little bit by these was how slow they are to get off the line. They are a power shift transmission, so it is taking a hot minute to get through. You know, I say that. No, they are manual transmissions, so it does take a hot minute to get through, and the speeds are not up there. So these are some very big tractors, which is great. However, at around 300 some horsepower that these have, the 365, the size of the tractor is a little bit big, I think, at least for modern standards. But then again, these are not modern tractors. On to the second set of twins. This is the Ford 1156 Versatile and the Versatile 1156. $171,000 for these, and you're going to be bumping up to 470 horsepower. So a little bit of a price increase there, but you're getting almost 100 more horsepower, about 105 more. As mentioned, you would probably not believe me if I told you. Nah, you would. The options are exactly the same on these. 470 horsepower, manual transmission, 1,500 liters of fuel, goes 12 miles an hour, weighs 11.6 tons. We are able to add an additional weight setup on the very back of 2,000 kgs, but no front weight can be added on these. And we do have some pretty big tires on these too. Did I mention trips? Oh yeah, you got triples as well. I think the more interesting thing for me is the fact that these weigh a lot less than the other ones. This guy, for example, weighs 11.6 tons, whereas the smaller version right here weighs 16.4 with a less powerful engine. I'm not quite sure. Of course, I play Farming Simulator. I'm not a real farmer, but big tractor, way less. I don't know how that works. Regardless, there's not a lot going on with these, unfortunately. Checking them out on the outside, you're not going to be finding much differences. Again, they look very, very good. I love the look of the engine and the open setup there. All of the hydraulics and things around towards the back, the articulating pivot point right in the middle. And they're just big tractors. I mean, look at this. Look at my dude right here. There's some big old tractors, and I love it. Now, one of the interesting things is the interior is a little bit different. So this is the Versatile right here, and then this is going to be the Ford. So the Ford actually has a digital dashboard where we are still running some normal analog stuff there on the Versatile. So that is very cool. They also sound very good, but with pretty much everything in the pack, there are no animations, nothing like that. And no, I have no idea why I'm parking everything over here. It's just, it looks good. Now we get into one of the most unique pieces of equipment that I think Farming Simulator's ever offered us. This is the Versatile 1080 Big Roy. 600 horsepower on here, manual transmission, 2,082 liters of fuel, goes 12 miles an hour, and weighs 26.1 tons. There are no customization options here. What you see is what you get, but you do get a lot. This 8-wheeled behemoth, I think, has presented itself as the cheapest, most powerful tractor, I think, in Farming Simulator right now. We've got, of course, these big BKT wheels, 8 of them. It's articulated straight down the middle, so you've got the cabin and the engine. You have the cabin in the front, and then the engine in the very back. I don't have a lot of information. I don't know a lot about this in real life. I do know that I think this is in a museum somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very cool. Once you get into it, this one does have an animation, so that ladder and the one on the other side will both go away, which is great news. That's pretty cool. Again, no options here. If you've got your steering turned all the way up like I do, it's going to be very unrealistic, but also going super fast in anything is also unrealistic. Checking out the hitch on the very back. It is just a regular hitch, no 3-point. I think you would probably understand why. This would probably break anything that you would pull that would need to be that heavy. Nonetheless, very cool. This actually have set up with the cedar, which we'll be showing off in the showcase video, which is such a massive piece of equipment. But you know what? It moves. It's like a train on wheels. There's a difference, if you needed it, between the big Versatile, which doesn't even come to the very back. It just keeps going. We do have one more quite modern setup. This is the Versatile Delta Track. So this is a full tracked, more modern setup for your articulating tractors. You do have engines between 583 and 665 horsepower. So this is the most powerful tractor that is in this pack. And we have 2 wheel options. You've either got a wide track or a regular track. These tracks also look new. I don't know really how to put it, but they don't look like anything else that we have. At least I don't feel like they are. This will have 1,749 liters of fuel. It goes 21 miles an hour and weighs 28.1 tons, making it one of the most heavy pieces of equipment in this DLC. As a matter of fact, it weighs 2 tons more than Big Roy. I can't believe it. Honestly, for its size, it looks like a super nimble piece of equipment. No 3-point on the back of this one either. However, we do have a nice hitch, similar to the other tractors. So I think there's only 2 tractors in this whole DLC that have a 3-point on the back. The smaller one and the Magnum setup looking one. We've also got a winch. I say a winch. We've got that guy right there. However, it doesn't do anything. So don't expect that to be doing much. We jump in, obviously, just like everything else, no animations. But it does get up and move pretty darn fast. Because it's on tracks, it feels like it's floating. Whee! Now we get to get into the equipment, which is very cool. So we do have a big old Seed Hog. 16 tons, 405 kilowatts. Who cares? Now, 550 horsepower. There you go. 25.6 meter working with at 7 miles an hour. It is a direct drill, and it will do all of your standard cedar crops. It's showing one extra one down here as well because I am on Prairie Farm, Michigan. I figured that would be the perfect one for this. Now, we also have the tank for this as well. We have a wheel setup of either standard or rear twins, but not twins all the way around like the Borgo stuff. This holds 35,315 liters, and that's going to be seed and solid fertilizer. And those numbers are almost fairly even, 16,200 liters of solid fertilizer and 19,115 liters of seed. We also have a planter. This is very cool. This is the Vederstedt Tempo K24, 1,100 liters, and that is going to be for seed and liquid fertilizer. Weighs 19.5 tons, 365 horsepower is required. It has an 18 meter working width at 12 miles an hour. It is not a direct drill, so you will be using this as a standard planter, and it is very big as well. And it's $290,000. There's also a pretty cool animation for the back. Whenever we open that up, one little spot opens so that if you pull under something or maybe tip into it, like we're going to show with the semi-trailer, which you could do. You can actually tip in and it'll drop in there. If you just want to load up like regular, you could do 5,700 liters of liquid fertilizer and 5,300 liters of seed. Next up, we got a big old auger wagon for 88,000 liter capacity, the Brandt 2500 DXT. What a name, what a machine. Weighs 17.7 tons by itself. They recommend 500 horsepower on it, which I've got one shown actually in the next video, which is a little bit less than that. However, we do have 3 color options. Of course, you could do more, but I do have that color mod uninstalled because, well, it was messing with the liveries on my Versatile tractors. We got to show those off, at least in this video and the next one. With this machine, it'll do all of your standard auger wagon crops. The next one is very interesting. This is a solid fertilizer spreader with boom arms. Yeah, 22 meter working width at 13 miles an hour, requires 360 horsepower, and that's only because it holds 18,700 liters of solid fertilizer, making it quite a heavy boy. And it also weighs 10 tons by itself. We do have multiple different wheel options to choose from, which is very nice to see, so gotta love that. There are a couple that are just chunky boys, like these guys, the Continentals. Love those, I think it looks great. But yeah, that is kind of about it. It's a regular fertilizer spreader, but you just have a boom arm instead of it flinging it out everywhere. We also have a disc in this DLC too, so this is the Salford Independent Series 1260. So this will have a 600 horsepower requirement, so there's 2 tractors in this pack that will work with this. We have a couple more in the base game, I believe, too. 18 meter spread at 11 miles an hour. Spread, 18 meter working with. It is a disc harrow at the end of the day, so there's that. Shallow Cultivation City. As I mentioned, we do have a big semi-trailer, so this will hold 36,400 liters, which to you may seem like not a lot. However, this has a party piece, which is fantastic. We also have some customization, which is great to see, too. We've got colors for the main chassis. Check that out. That's very, very cool. And we have rim colors as well. The only 4 rim colors you ever need right there, other than Toupe's, of course. Now, this has a party piece because it's not just a regular semi-truck trailer. It also can raise its rear end right off the ground, and you could back this thing under your other trailers, for example. You could also back it under cedars and things like that. It is, well, just kind of however you want. Also, you have full control over this, so if you want to go up a little bit, down a little bit, you can actually make it very precise with exactly where you want to be. Oh, and by the way, the covers on everything in this pack are really nice. Now we get into slurry spreading. However, the semi-tanker is not a spreader. This is just a regular semi-slurry tanker. So slurry and digestate, so it holds both of them, 39,800 liters, weighs 11.1 tons by itself, and we do have rim colors to choose from. Now this does have some animations. We do have a pipe here, which can go very high. It can also go very low as well. You can really get yourself in trouble. Yikes. If you do that too much, you get it stuck on the ground. It goes all the way out to there, and if you push it all the way back in, it will, boop, pop itself back in the socket. So that is cool, and you can't move it while it's in there. We also have another animation which opens up. Now this one's going to be very difficult to show, but let's see if you can look at the very bottom of the screen here. We can open and close that little guy. So that is very cool. Now, does it matter? No. Purely for roleplay purposes. There is no collision or anything like that that causes issues. And furthermore, this pipe right here also has, well, it does have collisions, but it doesn't do anything. You still just pull beside other semi-trailers with, tankers rather, and overload or, you know, whatever. You can load from one tanker to another. It's been a feature the past 2 games now. So, yeah. It's got some cool stuff. It's got some great roleplay bits and bobs to it. We've got a bunch of beacons on it, too. I think there's 3 or 4 beacons. Yeah, 3 beacons on there. But at the end of the day, this stuff right here doesn't really matter. You don't have to line it up, but you can. And that's really what matters. Now, to go along with that, we have 2 more slurry tankers. These are spreaders themselves. You're not able to attach anything. GEA EL48 6D 4800 and the GEA EL48 8D 7900. The best names in the game. They are beautiful. And one of the really cool things is they have a well, an axle that's raised and lowered. Now, it raises and lowers automatically when it's needed, but you can also raise and lower it manually if you would like. So if it's empty, for example, it's going to be raised. But if it's full, it's going to be down. But you can then raise it up, or you can put it down when it needs it. Pretty cool, huh? Both of these tankers, we'll just kind of show both of them together. 16-meter working width at 9 miles an hour for this guy, 21,800 liters. We do have a couple different tire choices to choose from. However, there's really not a lot that you could do with those, although the Vredestein Standard 2s look boss. Attach your type around towards the front. You're going to have the US and the EU sets, so that's basically going to help you with your turning when you're backing up and stuff like that. I think that's what that's going to do. But for us, we'll go with the US, and then of course we have color options for the tires, and as mentioned, I don't have the color mod installed, and it's just letting us choose them all. So that's great. So 16 meters and 9 miles an hour. What do we expect from the big one? Well, 16 meters at 9 miles an hour, because the mechanism on the back is exactly the same. However, it holds a lot more, 35,900. And you say, hey, isn't that almost as much as the semi-trailer? Yes, it is. I don't get how like this tanker right here, I don't get how it only holds like 3,000 or 4,000 liters more than this does. I don't know. Wheels are the same. Attachers are the same, rim colors are the same, everything's the same. When you're ready to turn it on, simply unfold. You cannot turn it on regardless if it's full or not. You cannot open that up. So you got 3 nozzles there, one in the middle, and then 2 that unfold. So at 18 meters, you're going to be working about 6 meters each, and because it's slurry, you can run double application. And because precision farming is out now, I would definitely recommend that you go with this. As we mentioned with the little wheel there, right there, we can click it, drop it down, it works like normal, and then when you're done, you can raise it up. I'm going to use power tools just to fill this up with slurry, but as you can see, filled it up, and it came down, but I can lift it up if I want to. With this tanker, it's really not a big deal. It doesn't do so much. However, if you're running this tanker, it makes a big difference. Now, this may be one of the coolest and most unique and most customizable, most everything pieces of equipment in this pack. So this is the Fendt Rogator 900. Now, they used to also have a Challenger version of this too, I think, and maybe Massey Ferguson, I'm not quite sure. However, I can tell you that we don't have those, but we do have this one. Now, this is 3 or 4 different spreaders in one. So we start off with the liquid sprayer. So we'll talk about that. So with this one, we've got a 4,164 liter capacity with a 27 meter work width at 15 miles an hour. Now, if we go down to working with, we can actually change this from 27, 30, 36, and 40 meters. So we are able to really increase that setup. We can also change up the tank in there from 1,100 gallons to 1,300 gallons. Yes, I know, they put gallons on the customization option, but everything is still in liters. I don't know either. Capacities here is 4,164 or 4,921. It does work fine, well enough. Liquid fertilizer and herbicide. As far as your wheel brands, we can show these off real quick as well. A couple different sets through there, which is nice to see. And I will tell you this, the wide tires are, yes, chunky. Nokians might be my favorite on here, and we can widen out the setup, but we'll show you how that goes. Engine also goes up to 365 horsepower. But again, that's not the cool part about this. So you can either make this a sprayer, so liquid fertilizer, herbicide. You can also make it a spreader, which, to be fair, removes a lot of the customization options. But still, you got the spreader right here. Now, it says 20 meters, but it's actually 42 meter working width. I'm not sure why it says 20. And we also have this guy, which is just like the trailed fertilizer spreader. It's a solid fertilizer, but it kind of chunks it out like a sprayer, which is very cool. And then we're back to a sprayer unit again. These are not modules. These are fully attached. So if you wanted to customize in between harvests or different sections, you can. The one thing that is slightly irritating is that nothing in this pack does lime. Honestly, the only thing that does lime is the auger wagon and the semi-trailer. Those are the only things that do lime. So nothing will spread lime in this pack, which is kind of difficult, odd, interesting. It'd be nice to have lime, especially with precision farming coming out. It's already out. You know what I mean. Alrighty, since I like it so much, I went with the Nookian wheels on there. And if we press the right bumper, we can boom out those wheels. Check that. It is very nice to see something like this. I love Fendt, so guys that are using Fendt, hopefully this is going to be awesome for you guys. We do have all-wheel steering, just front-wheel steering. Then we have a crab left and a crab right. So we do have all of those, but the all-wheel steering, man, that just makes it, doesn't it? Absolutely. But yeah, as you can see here, as I mentioned, the covers and tarps are all awesome. And this does have that 42 meter working width. You can see that up at the top, or as we go in here, I know it says 20, but boom, you will have to move that over. I will be reporting this if I haven't done it already by the time you're seeing this video. Oh, and working widths can be 42, 36, 30, 21, 18, and 15 meters, respectively, with the solid fertilizer spreader. And the last piece of equipment to take a look at is the International LT Series. Oh yeah, we finally have an International semi-truck, and we could do a lot of options to it. It actually comes pretty customized, as you can see. All of the stuff here in the middle is all there. And you've got $9,300 worth of options there. So what I'm going to do is just take all that away. So this is really what the bog standard setup is, even though rim colors are all $1,000 for some reason. It just is what it is, I guess. Actually, do any of them cost $0? Oh yeah, that one costs $0. Sweet. So this is your base bog standard truck. 370 horsepower is on here, but we can bump that up to 515. We also have 470, 450, 430, 400. So a lot of stuff in between, which is really nice. Day cab is your standard set. We also have the high-rise sleeper, which is very cool. And then you can do the sky-rise sleeper. Now, if you go with the day cab, this is also going to have some aero parts, which can be taken off or added. I think it looks better off, which, you know, could be whatever, but I will have a video out in a couple days on Riverbend showing this setup where it actually looks way better on the options that I'm using. Front bumper, you can either make it painted or plastic. Mirrors can be added to the hood, and then we've got the sun shield at the top. Now, that's just for the day cab option. We do have mirrors and a sun shield for the high-rise sleeper, and for the sky-rise sleeper, you're going to see the same stuff there as well, although they are a few different options, the way they look. If you go with a sleeper cab, you can also increase the amount of fuel that it holds. You can increase that from 265 liters up to 378. That's going to be on both of those. However, the day cab does not have that option. So be aware of that. Then we've got colors. Of course, every single color under the rainbow can be chosen. We also have the blue color, the Blue International. And everything's kind of got this like metallic-y, slick kind of look. I think it looks pretty darn cool, but that blue also looks fantastic. Plus, all four of the wheel colors that you would expect to see. And I actually used this earlier in the video when I was working with these semi-trailers. So there's that. Unfortunately, no animations. I know at one point Farming Simulator had posted that there would be new US style buildings and equipment coming. These are on the map already, and there are no new US buildings that have been added to the build mode. So maybe it's something that's coming in the future, I don't know, but that was definitely a typo. And unfortunately, no versatile t-shirts or clothing anywhere. So there you go, that is your overview of all of the equipment in a mod style video for the Plains and Prairies DLC. If you would like to pick this up, I will have a link down below for you to check out. As far as I can tell, everything is looking good with this. I know in previous videos I had mentioned to hold off on your pre-orders. However, I can tell you that everything seems to be working just fine. So if you're excited about this one, but you haven't picked it up yet, definitely now is a good time. You can also wait till it comes out. No harm, no foul. Appreciate you watching the video today. Make sure you check out that other video showing off how the equipment works and doing everything in the field. Hope you have an awesome day. We'll catch you in the next one.